a product owner, I typically stand as a go-between between the business and the development team.
Ideas can come from anywhere. They can come from our customers. They could be generated internally, and we prioritize them. We decide what is going to deliver the best business value for us going forward.
A product owner usually has an idea, and they come speak to the project leader, team leaders, and maybe even the analysts, and then we discuss the technical issues and how important it is and what kind of work would be required to get the thing released.
So we work in sprints, and the sprints are anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks long. And during the course of that time, we go through various phases. The first phase is the planning phase, where work is presented and planned for that particular iteration.
From then onwards, we go into planning 2, which is a more technical way of going over each of the stories.
We do Scrum, which is an agile methodology.
And say 4 weeks, little piece of work, get it out, start again, repeat the process over and over.
We try and release as often as possible and get the functionality out to the market as soon as we can.
A lot of smart people in a room discussing things. That's how we get things done.
Just add a button right there. No, it's at times it's easy, but there's a lot more complexity involved.
It's more about what does that button look like? What does that button do?
Think about the fact that what if that button is clicked 1,000 times by 1,000 users? You need to think about performance and scalability.
Code reviews are a fundamental part of the development lifecycle.
You'd get someone senior in the company who would either be a senior software engineer or an application architect, and we'd basically get them to go through a piece of code that one of the team members has chosen.
It's purely because guys spend a lot of their time looking at their own PC, at their own screen, at their own code base. That can lead to practices that aren't exactly what we want as a high practice at Korbitec.
I'll do code reviews and help people out with the direction that they're headed. So it's not necessarily the details, the little things, but it's more important that our software stays to our acceptable levels of quality.
Primarily we use C# and a lot of the Microsoft technologies because we've got a large skill set in those areas. But if we have problems that are better solved in other technologies, then that's what we use.
When the developer is happy with their code that they do for that sprint, my responsibility is weighing out what it entails to test that and obviously break it.
What I will do is go through the spec, obviously, and see if what is being produced meets what was specifically initially requested.
We go through acceptance testing and also negative testing to check that nothing else is broken from that fix.
So when I receive a code package from the teams, it goes through a release process. They will test it in the environment, goes through regression testing.
And once that's confirmed that it actually works, they release it typically in the evenings during quiet times. And post that, they do testing to make sure that it's been delivered successfully.
So often there's a bit of a flurry in the beginning and people trying to find the features.
We keep an eye on the stats. We have a look at our analytics data and we benchmark that against what our expectations were. We can get a great idea of whether we've seen uptake or perhaps if we still have to do some work on it, or if maybe the idea needs more refinement.
And we start the next cycle. So in fact, we start our next cycle before the last cycle's released. So we're actually hitting the ground with the next sprint when the product's released.